Good morning, everyone. My name is Jairi Habagat. For this morning, I discuss you about the cost of production. Uh, First, what is cost of production? Cost of production reflect all the costs that business pay that are associated with manufacturing a product or providing services. Ang manufacturing, mo na yung nag-provide og mga bagong mga product or mga material. Next, what are costs? These costs include both direct and indirect business costs. Direct costs are connected to the product while indirect costs involve the maintenance and running of the company. Uh, the next is total revenue, total cost and profits. The firm objective is the maximum profits, which is determined by the total revenue and reserved for selling cookies and total cost paid for input. The firm goals is to maximize profit by dividing the total revenue for selling cookies by the total cost of input. Maximize profits means making the most money by selling things and keeping costs low. It's about finding the best way to earn as much possible while spending as little as possible. To achieve these goals, business often focus on managing and optimizing their total revenue and total cost. Uh, First is total revenue. This is the overall income a company receives from selling its product or services. In the case of the cookies business, it would be the total amount of money generated from the selling cookies. Next is total cost. This includes all the expenses incurred in the production process, just as raw material, labor, overhead cost, and any others input required to make the cookies. And lastly, profits is calculated by subtracting total cost from total revenue. That's all for my discussion.
Good morning, ma'am. So my topic is all about economic profit and accounting profit. So, balik ta sa firm objective. Muna siya ang profit. So, kay ang economist o ang accountant is nag-measure sila sa gastos sa lahi-lahi na way o nag-measure pa sila sa kita sa lahi-lahi na way. So, ang economic profit is muna siya ang nag-provide of comprehensive measure sa kaya na makita sa pag-consider sa true cost sa mga magamit na resources sa business. So, ang economic profit is subtracts both explicit and implicit cost sa total revenue. Then, ang accounting profit is mo ni siya ang naghatag og kanang snapshot sa health sa isa ka company o mo ni siya ang pinakauna na ginagamit para sa mga purpose sa buwis o mag-report sa mga stakeholders. So, ang accounting profit, ang traditional measure jud ani is kanang ang profit calculated by subtracting explicit from total revenue. Mo na siyang accounting profit. So, sa figure 1, tan-awa. Kay ang accountant is gi-ignore niya ang implicit cost. So, ang accounting profit is kadalasan kung ano siya, dako pa siya sa economic profit. Para makaginaw siya ang isa ka negosyo gikan sa pananaw ng isang ekonomista. So, ang total revenue is dapat kanang mulapas sa tanan ng mga gastos, both explicit and implicit cost. So, ang economic profit is importante ni siya na concept kay nagmotivate sa tanan na mga gastos sa goods o services. Sama sa atong makita, di ba? Ang isa ka kumpanya is ang isa ka kumpanya na naghimo og positive nga profit sa economics is magpabilin sa business na siya. Sa kini naglangkob tanan sa gastos ug naay mabili na kita para i-reward sa tag-iya sa company or sa firm. Then, kung isa ka kumpanya is nalugi, mao na siyang kung negative ang kita sa economics. Ang mga tag-iya sa negosyo is dili maka-earn og sakto na kita para masakop ang tanan ng mga gastos sa produksyon. Muna siya. Then, maliban kung mag-change ang mga condition. So, ang firm owners kay isara ang nila ang mga negosyo nila o exit sa industry. Para makasabot sa desisyon sa negosyo, kinahanglan nato bantayan ang kita sa ekonomiya. So, ang economist include all opportunity cost. Makita niyo sa table sa babaw. Ay table ba na sa figure 1? So, ang economist is include opportunity cost. Ang opportunity cost mo na siyang implicit cost o explicit cost when analyzing a firm. Whereas, ang accountants is nag-measure siya only sa explicit cost. Therefore, ang economic profit is smaller than accounting profit. Thank you.
Good day, ma'am. By the way, I am Natividad Reyes Batar, and this is my topic is all about production and cost. This section explores the relationship between a firm's production process and total cost, using Caroline's Cookie Factory as an example. This analysis assumes a fixed factory size and allows for short-term adjustments to cookie quantity. Ang mao ni akong example sa production and cost, dili mabalan kung unsaon pag kuan produce ug unsaon pag total cost sa kantidad sa example sa Caroline Factory. Mao ni siya ang number of workers is 1 to 6. Tapos, ang output o quantity of cookies produced per hour is mao ni ang result. Mao nang ma-result ni siya is kung the more ma-change ang number of workers, mao pod nang daghan pod ma-produce na cookies per hours. Tapos, ang marginal product of labor is mao na makuha is tungod kay ang output of quantity of cookies produced per hour minus mao nang 50, 40, 30, 20, 10, ug 5. Tapos, ang cost of factory is fixed na siya ang kantidad 30 ang ilahang kalang kantidad sa kalang sana cookies. Mao na fixed siya 30. Tapos, ang cost of workers is since nakatong 0 man ang number of workers diri mao nang equivalent na siya og 10 to 160. Tapos, ang total cost of inputs cost mao nang gi-add ang cost of factory tapos ug cost of worker ilang gi-add mao nang ang 30 plus 10 equals 40. Ang 30 plus 20 is 50. 30 plus 30 60. Dira makuha ang katong total cost of input sa ilaha tanan na gipang kuan kanang sana kantidad tanan sa apila ang trabaho ug katong kantidad nila sa factory pagbaligya. And that's all. Thank you.
So good morning everyone. My name is Princess P. Humawas and I'm going to report about the production function. So production function is the relationship between output and input. So output is the number of goods or services that produce, and also input, number of resources or material that are used to produce output. And also the marginal product. The marginal product is the additional product that is produced as a result of adding an additional unit of input. And also a change in the production output due to a change in the production input is known as a marginal product. So here is the production function that total cost. So here is the table which is the table A production function. So here is the number of workers hired, and here between these dots and line are the production function. So And this, the table B, the total, and here the line here with dots are the total cost curve, and also here are the quantity of output that cookies per hour that produced. So if ever the number of workers hired nga magkataas siya, magkadugang og worker nga i-hire sa production. So ang production function niya magkataas pud kibali the more nga mag-hire ka og workers, the more nga mag-add ang quantity output nga maproduce sa production, and also the total cost curve nga magkataas ang magkadaghan inyong worker, magkataas ang ilahang production nga mahimo, and also the price or the cost of the product nga magka-increase pod. So diminishing marginal product is the more input that is employed in a production process, the lesser the margin of extra input, output that obtained. So, it means that na mas maraming input na ginagamit sa isang proseso ng production, mas maliit ang margin or ang kadagdagang output na nakukuha. And also, lumiliit ang produkto nga mapaproduce sa product. So, as we can see here nga, as I said earlier na, kung magkataas ang imong worker na imo i-hard, magkataas po ang inyong production function. So, as we all know, the production function is the relationship between the output and the input. And also, here is the total cost curve and the quantity of output cookies. So, whereas that, if ever magkadaghan imong workers, magka-add po ang ilang production nga mahimo sa product, and also ang the price or the cost will be increased.
This is the continuation of our report. So my topic is the various measure of cost. So the analysis of Caroline's Cookie Factory demonstrates how a firm's total cost reflects its production function. These data can be used to derive related measures of cost, which are useful for analysis of production and pricing decisions. For example, Conrad's coffee shop's total cost curve reflects as the quantity produced rises. So we have the table to the various measure of Conrad's coffee. Then we have the column 1, output cups of coffee per hour. Then the column 2, total cost. Then fixed cost. Then variable cost. Average fixed cost. Average variable cost. Average total cost. And the last one is marginal cost. So if you look at the fixed cost, these numbers stay the same no matter how many cups of coffee will be produced. And okay, we have the $3 is a fixed cost, and the variable cost. When you produce 0 cups, then you don't have variable cost. Nara mo ni siya ang 0. If wala kay gi-produce nga cups, so yung variable cost is 0. If mag-start na kag-produce of cup, then ang variable cost will rise along with the increase in your number of coffee made. So, diri sa output cups of coffee per hour is nagkaanam na siya og increase. Nanay 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and so on. Then, sa variable cost, nagkaanam siya from $0.30, $0.80, then $1.50, then $2.40, and so on. So, how to get the total cost? So, fixed cost plus variable cost. So, $3.0, then plus $0.80. So, we have the $3.80. Mo na siya ang iyang total cost. So, how to get the fixed average fixed cost? So, we have the fixed cost, which is $3.0 divided by the number of cups. So, sa 2. Then, we have the average fixed cost, 1.50. Then, Sa average variable cost is variable cost $0.80 divided by sa number gyapon of cups. Then we have the $0.40. Then ang average total cost is nga $3.80 divided by sa number of cups. So we have the $1.90. Then sa marginal cost means how much the total cost increased when the number of cups of coffee increased by 1. So from 1 to 2, so we have the $3 minus $3.80. So we have the $0.30. Then we have the 2 to 3 cups. So this is how we find means how much the total cost increased when the number of cups coffee increased by 1. So from 1 to 2, so we have the $3 minus $3.80. So we have the $0.50. In 2 to 3 cups, we have the $3.80 minus $4.50. So we have the $0.70 mo niyang iyang marginal cost. So, that's how we find the total cost goes up from $3.80 to $4.50. So, mao na to yung marginal cost. Ay, sa siyang kanabay sa cellphone lang. Figure 3, which is the total, mao na siya ang total cost. So, this is the total cost. But 3 to narang total cost niya to 15, and then sa quantity of output, then ang 3 is nag-increase yang total cost for kay ang sa diri amang god is di ba nagka siya og kanang kada kanyang cup nga gigamit. So fixed cost that do not vary with the quantity of output produced. So in the fixed cost, it will remain the same gyapon. And then the variable cost that vary with the quantity of output produced. A variable cost is an expense that change in proportion to production or sales volume. So ang variable cost is mag-change siya once ang imong cups, kibali number of cups is magkaalam siya increase. So mo na ang variable cost. So that's all.
Hey everyone, I'm Pilgrim Janice. My topic for today is average and marginal cost. So I have example of situations here. So Conrad, the owner of his firms, must decide on the production levels and their impact on company cost, requiring consultation with his production supervisor. So here are two questions about the cost of producing coffee. So first question is, how much does it cost to make the typical cup of coffee? Second, how much does it cost to increase production of coffee by 1 cup? So kini siya na question is kanang duha ka question is kanang pwede siya same og answer lang, but answer are important for understanding how firms make productions decisions. So bala nato ni karon if same nang ba sila og kuan. So average total costs are ATC. I have example here. For example, if the firm produces by cups of coffee per hour, its total cost is $3.80, and the cost of the typical cup is $3.80 divided by 2. So the answer is $1.90. So how to compute this one? So ang equation niya is average total cost equals total cost divided by quantity. So ang So, ang $3.8 i-divide lang into 2 kay 2 man ka cups ang 2 man ka quantities ang example diri as. So, the result is $1.90. So, next is average fixed cost or AFC. Ang AFC is the fixed cost divided by quantity of output. So, fixed ang example aning mga fixed cost is kanang mga salaries or kanang mga rent sa boarding house, tapos mga utility bills. Then average variable cost or AVC, it's the variable cost divided by quantity of output. So next is marginal cost. For example of marginal cost, example situations here. If Conrad increase for production from 2 to 3 cups, total cost rises from $3.80 to $4.50. So the marginal cost of the third cup of coffee is $4.50. So minus $3.80 or the result, the final answer is $0.70. So ang marginal cost is the change in total production cost that comes from making up or producing one additional unit. So diba 1 man to siya 6 6.8 ang kanang kung duha lang siya ka cups ang pan. So pag dungagan siya sa ka cups ni kuan, ang presyo niya is mga $4.50. So ang $3.50 ug ang $4.50 gi-divide siya gi-minus siya, so the result is $0.70. So that's all. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Geraldine Barelio, and I will continue to report about firm behavior and the organization of industry. In the examples we have studied so far, the firms have exhibited diminishing marginal product and therefore rising marginal cost at all levels of output. This simplifying assumption was useful because it allowed us to focus on the K and allowed us to feature the cost curves that are useful in analyzing firm behavior. Pero mas complicated pa ang actual firm ani. In many firms, marginal product does not start to fall immediately after the first worker is hired. Depending on the production process, the second or third worker might have a higher marginal product than the first because a team of workers can be divided tasks and work more productively than a single worker. This referred to as division of labor specialization. By dividing tasks among team members, each worker can focus on their area of expertise, leading to more efficient production. This can result in a temporary increase in marginal product before reaching a point of diminishing returns. And wait a minute. As we can see in this figure, which is a typical cost curve, this firm experienced increasing marginal product before diminishing marginal product. Notice that marginal cost and average total cost falls for a while before starting to rise. And it is the cost and the quantity of output. It is because the firm experiences cost advantages as it produces more output. As the firm expands its production, it may experience increasing returns to scale. This means that the increase in output is proportionally greater than the increase in inputs. As a result, the marginal cost decreases, leading to a fall in both marginal cost and average total cost. The cost curve in this figure share the three properties that are most important to remember. These are, number one, marginal cost eventually rises with the quantity of output. Then number two, the average total cost is U-shaped. Then number three, the marginal cost curve crosses the average total cost curve at the minimum of average total cost. This means in number one, marginal cost eventually rises with the quantity of output due to principles of diminishing marginal returns. This principle states nga ang firm nga nag-increase the quantity of variable input such as labor or capital while keeping other input produced by each additional output produced by each additional unit of the variable input will eventually decrease. That's what the principle states in the marginal cost with increases with quantity of product. The number two, the average total cost or ATC curve is U-shaped due to the combination of average fixed cost or AFC and average variable cost. At low levels of output, the declining AFC or average fixed cost dominates, causing the ATC to decrease. As production increases, the increasing average variable cost starts to outweigh the declining average fixed cost, causing the average total cost to increase. The average total cost reaches its minimum point where the average fixed cost and average variable cost curves intersect. Beyond that point, the increasing average variable cost dominates, causing the average total cost to rise. It's important to note that the shape of the average total cost curve can vary depending on factors such as economies of scale, input prices, and technological advancements. However, the U-shaped ATC curve is a common pattern observed in many industries. That's all with my report, and good morning once in a while.
Good morning, everyone. I am Julina Onita. So I am the last reporter about costs in the short run and in the long run. So we noted earlier this in this chapter that firms' cost might depend on the time horizon under consideration. Let's examine more precisely why this might be the case. So short run. Short run means a factors of production is fixed or cannot be change. So, for example, is kanang variable cost. Ma-adjust ni siya in the short run. Example is a bakery. Magkuan kag cost sa ingredients like flour, sugar, butter, and eggs. So, kung mag-produce kag daghan baked goods, ang cost sa imong ingredients is mo increase. Kana sab sa labor cost, like kanang hiring and paying wages kuan to bakers, pastry chiefs, and staff members would be considered a short run. So if you need to increase production, you can hire more workers. So if you need to decrease a production, you can reduce the number of workers. So long run means the factors of production are variable and can be adjusted. So means that a firm can change its production level by adjusting both the variables and fixed factors. Typical cost curves. The cost of total cost varies depending on the time horizon. So time horizon is a period of the time which an investment or a planning process is evaluated or assumed to end. So, kana bang ang investor expects to hold an investment until they need the money? So, example, someone saving for retirement may have a long-term time horizon. So, while someone saving for a short-term goal like buying a car may have a short time horizon. So, for example, a car manufacturer like Ford cannot adjust its factories quickly, making them fixed costs in the short run. However, over time can expand, build, or close factories, making them variable costs in the long term, in the long run. So, nga no, ang decision ni Ford are fixed sa short run, pero kung sa long run, variable are kanang mausab bitaw. A firm's long-run cost curves differ from its short-run curves, as they are more flexible in the long run. For example, when Ford wants to increase production, it must hire more workers in the short run, resulting in higher average total cost. Kay maong resulting average total cost kay si Ford nag-hire man siya daghang workers sa short run. Typical cost curves. The study suggests that firms with diminishing marginal product and rising marginal cost exhibit as a simpler assumption, but actual firms are more complex. Marginal product may not fall immediately after hiring the first worker, as a team can divide tasks and work more productivity. So, a marginal product concerns changes in output, while marginal cost is a presentation of the cost incurred when additional units of a product are produced. So, ang marginal cost nag-help siya in determining the most efficient use of resources in the production. Example, let's say a bakery produces 100 cookies at a total cost of $50. So the marginal cost of producing one more cookies would be calculated by dividing the additional cost of producing the extra cookies by the change in the quality of output, which is case is 1. If the cost of producing the 100 first cookies is $0.50, then the marginal cost of producing that cookies would be $0.50. So, while ang marginal product nag-help siya to determining the optimal production level and proving pricing strategy. So, kung sa company. So, example, if a company hires an additional workers and finds that the workers produces 20 units of output per day, then the marginal product of the additional workers is 20 units. As we can see in this figure 6, is Ford has economies of scale at low levels of output, constant returns to scale at intermediate levels of output, and diseconomies of scale at high levels of output. So, dito natin makikita sa graph yung economies and diseconomies of scales and constant returns to scale and total cost average. So, the shape of the long run average total cost curve conveys important information about the production processes that a firm has available for manufacturing a good. In particular, it tells us how costs vary with the scale, that is, the size of a firm's operations. When long-run average total cost declines as output increases, there are said to be economies of scale. So makikita mo dito sa graph. When long-run average total cost rises as output increases, there are said to be these economies of scale. So makikita mo din yan. When long-run average total cost does not vary with the level of output, there are said to be constant returns to scale. So, yun yung nakaline sa gitna.